So we're going back into Judy Condon's house to decorate for fall today with some of her really great products. And I came home with a turkey, so let me show it to you. All right, this is not my final resting place, but it is where I decided to store this turkey for now. This is the turkey that you will see on the table of her display. And when I saw she had some turkeys done, I texted her and I said, hey, can you hold one of them for me? And I'll pick it up when I come out. So this is what I did, because I know that they go really fast. This is the big turkey, and I can't wait to decorate with it for Thanksgiving. However, I can wait because, I like summer. But this is it. It's beautiful. It's solid. It's got good weight to it, but not too heavy. And it smells so good. It's got all kinds of cinnamon and spices on it. And Okay, so we are in Judy's dining room. Take it away, Judy.
Thank you. Well, I think fall is one of my favorite times of the year. And, it's funny because I wrote in my book that just came out, The Splendor of Fall, in my introduction, I talked about how people equate fall with a very sad time of year. The songs are very sad. They talk of death. They talk of dying. And really, if you go back at the songs in history, the famous one, September Song, long are the days, and it traditionally is thought of as kind of a time where the trees are dying and turning colors, and in the Splendor of Fall I mentioned where that all started. But I think to country decorators, it is anything but sad. Because if I don't get my fall book out right after the 4th of July, they are asking me, when is the fall book coming? Because when July 4th is over and done with, we country people are ready to bring out the turkeys and the pumpkins.
It's true.
So I try and ship the fall book in July, and I think I like the subtle colors of fall, but I think it is kind of a calming time. We start to hunker down, and we know the cold weather is coming. But I think, too, it sets us up for family time. And to me, the dining room at Thanksgiving is where we gather. And yes, my big turkey, which weighs a ton, and I ship to California even in big boxes. It's very popular as a centerpiece. It's not easy to make, but it's fun to do, and it does make a statement. And I think that with bright fall colors, gourds and pumpkins, it does have a nice contrast. Again, I like the contrast between light and dark, and the dining room gives it a homey feeling. And I think there's nowhere in a home that is more fun to decorate than a fireplace and a mantle, because it has endless possibilities. And to me, you walk into a room and it is the focal point. Whether or not you have a fire going, it doesn't matter. You just gravitate towards that mantle. So I decorated this in such a way to not only show some of the fall things, the blackened crow and the silly looking owl with the big eyes, the bittersweet, which is handmade by a friend of mine who is kinfolk, and she does display it at Walker Homestead in Massachusetts in the fall. But she makes these bittersweet out of felt and makes the strands, which are just very intricate and just have a nice feel to them. And of course, I like homemade, so that's nice too. I like to use something. This wreath has a certain faded look to it, but the beeswax cordless tree candle enables you to take something that might be a little bit dark and faded and brighten it with just a single light. And you can make it flicker or be a solid light. And of course, there's nothing like gourds in the fall. Bowls of them are wonderful. some smaller turkeys. I call this the little harvest turkey, and again, this kind of medium turkey.
So cute.
So I think turkeys and pumpkins, and this pumpkin has been very popular. Measures 9 inches across, and again, it's dark, it's grungy, it's primitive, but it's perfect for the country decor at fall.
It is. How many things do you have that are black
Oh gosh.
wax?
Well, I mean, I do birds and pigs, rabbits, owls, chickens, hens, turkeys, pumpkins, and it all kind of came about when I first started to pour. The sheep that I mentioned before, that I had to produce a product to sell with my books. But the other thing that's really honed me into the black wax is the fact that probably 8 or 9 years ago, Luminara came out with their flameless movable wick candle.
Oh yeah.
I was fascinated by it. And I bought one, and I really tried to put it, to make it fit into a country home. And it didn't cut it because it stood out. It just didn't belong with that white wax. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, why couldn't I make a country candle out of this? So one Saturday, my husband went for a nap. I went down into my basement, got out my black wax pots, turned on my stove, and I started to experiment with this candle. And I discovered that I could take a Luminara candle and make it into any color I wanted. And I came out of the basement. It was as though I had invented the wheel down there. I was so excited. I called my friend who owned a shop. She said, I'll take 12. I said, look at what I've done. Well, then my mind just went wild. I was buying candle dyes in cranberry and bayberry and pumpkin and all of these wonderful colors. And I would say since then I've probably done 20,000 candles each year, just turning a Luminara candle into something, and let me just show you one here, turning a Luminara light colored candle into something, that's perfect for the country home. So mustard, gray, cranberry, green, any color, 7-inch, 5-inch, and then Luminara had an 8-inch taper. I started with those. I did the same thing. And then I approached the company probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I said, my market needs a shorter candle. We want a 6-inch. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, we don't make them. Mm-hmm. I said, well, what would it take to get the company to make those? Well, they asked me for a huge investment to buy the mold, which I did, and I had to commit to buying 5,000. Wow. So I did, and they started to produce the 6-inch taper, which is behind you.
Oh, wow.
On the wall with the movable wick.
Yeah.
And again, since then, they now are remote capable, but they all have built-in timers. Wow. And you can set them. So at night, my candles come on automatically and kind of light up each room.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So there's tapers, there's pillars, there are little votives that I have in lanterns and little tea lights, and then the tree lights that I use in beeswax, cranberry, or the blackened. I call it blackened, but it's like a dark walnut. Mm-hmm. And people who like a primitive cabin look tend to gravitate towards the darker colors. But they come 10 to a box, and they're remote, and you can make them flicker or solid light, and I'll show you when we talk about the Christmas how I decorate with those too. But people think, well, wait, I can put them somewhere other than a Christmas tree because there's no cord and they're clipping on. So I can dress up a mantle, or I can put them on a wreath, put them in a sconce. I could put them in sconces. Mm-hmm. So it's just versatile. I like versatility.
Very nice. Very nice. And you have a corn husk.
Yes, just a corn husk.
Yeah.
Very simple texture.
Yep.
Yes. I like to keep it simple. so that you can appreciate each piece for its unique feature and its simplicity. I think.
Right. And there's a lot of texture.
Yes, definitely a lot of texture.
A lot of texture.
Yes.
And I love this pumpkin too, because I picked it up before and I expected to go, ooh.
Yes.
And it was
yes.
like, oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I used to make the same size, and it was very heavy. It was very difficult to ship without cracking, and it would cost about $35 to ship it.
Wow.
Well, then I couldn't get them anymore.
Yeah.
So I found these and was able to adapt, and now I can ship this pumpkin for about $15 anywhere in the country.
That's
Priority.
fantastic.
So yes, they've become very popular, and just putting it in a wreath. If I wanted to, I could put it on the center table. But again, simple.
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 And in your kitchen, you have your pears. I think we
Yes.
have to look at the pears.
Yes.
Because I own the pears. And
Yeah, the pears are very popular. They're beeswax, and again, I grunge them. People like grungy, and so I do grunge them.
yeah.
And let me show you my apples. I will get you some of those.
Yeah, I love the pears. I've had these. I have these sitting everywhere all the time. I think I put them away for the summer just so I wouldn't, get sick of them, but they're coming right back out again as soon as fall starts. And they stay out all winter because they're so cool. They look so real.
Yeah, my pears were so popular that I thought, why not experiment with grungy apples?
Yeah.
So I started again to use beeswax to create the apples, and then it's taken me a while to figure out the texture so that I can get just the right color. But it's a nice fall accent if you have a little basket.
Yes.
They're just kind of fun to
Very nice.
dirty looking.
We better not sit still too long or Judy might wax us.
You never know what I can come up with.
Those are really cool.
But again, another texture and simple and inexpensive. And I sell these 8 for $38. The pears are 6 for $38, and they ship for about $10 each.
Okay.
So it's, again, a little accent, handmade. It's a little different, but it adds a nice little country touch.
It does. And I'm going to put the link in the description box, but it is Marshfield.
No, Marsh Homes. No.
Marsh
Homestead.
Homestead.
Antiques.com
Okay.
is the website.
Okay.
And then I do put things on Amazon and on eBay.
Okay.
Super CT is the seller. And years and years and years ago when eBay first started, they asked me and another seller how could they identify our category, because this was all new.
Wow.
Back 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we came up with AAFA, which stands for American Antiques and Folk Art. So oftentimes that, if you search, if you're looking for primitives or antiques, I will add in the description, it might say a lot of 6 Pears by Judy Condon, AAFA. So people can search AAFA and it will call up those items that are American antiques or folk art.
That is great
So
to know.
that's a lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah. That's
It
a good
helps
tip.
to find pieces.
Right. You guys are all going to want to go shopping on our site.